dropping product lines. It's kind of similar to the make or buy decision. It's just the idea here is we don't have a replacement for it. We're just looking at keeping the product line or just flat out getting rid of it. So what happens? Get these income statements and you see an unprofitable product line. So yeah, they're going to be increased scrutiny on that product line. It's unprofitable. Management's going to want to know, well, why do we have it? If it's losing money for us, why are we keeping it around? Well, the problem is that GAAP financial statements, they're going to ignore any kind of differential costs. So if you look at just a GAAP financial statement for one of these business units or divisions, and it shows a net loss, not really knowing why it has the net loss. There's a whole bunch of stuff built into it that's being not only related to that division, but stuff that's being allocated to it from the whole company. And you can't split that up with just a regular GAAP financial statement. So we've got to look at it in terms of the contribution margin income statement. That's going to allow us to break apart pieces. Because yes, the individual variable costs related to that product line or division, we can see those in the contribution margin income statement. We can actually figure out then the contribution margin of that product line, what it's actually providing to the company. Then we can look at the individual fixed costs to see which fixed costs are actually related to that product line, or which fixed costs would we stop having if we actually got rid of that product line. So things aren't going to happen. We're not going to pay the CEO less if you get rid of a product line. But part of his salary is being allocated to all the divisions. So we got to look at that as a special case. The cookie division is presently operating at 85% of capacity. So it's not a matter of one other thing we want to look at is if we have a poorly run division, poorly profitable division, replacing it with something that's more profitable. In this case, we're operating at 85% of capacity, so if there is another cookie that we want to add, we have capacity to try one out. So we don't have to get rid of one of the current ones to try another cookie out. So that wouldn't be a reason just to get rid of, in this case, we're looking at sugar cookies. Worried about the company's performance, the division leader is considering dropping the sugar cookie line. So if you look at it, it looks like it has a loss of $1,800 there. If sugar cookies are dropped, the revenue associated with it, of course, will be lost. If we're not selling sugar cookies, we're not going to be making revenue off sugar cookies if we get rid of it. So that's pretty obvious. And the related variable costs saved. So if we're not making sugar cookies, those costs won't go up related to sugar cookies. In addition, the company's total fixed costs will be reduced by 18%. So basically, of the total fixed costs for the company, about 18% are related directly to sugar cookies. So we have these segmented income statements in contribution margin income statement form for peanut butter, sugar, and chocolate chips, the three cookies in our cookie division. And so we're going to look at a differential cost schedule to figure out, well, should the cookie line be dropped? Because if you look at it initially saying, well, yeah, we're losing $1,800 on it, let's get rid of it, so it would be more profitable. But really, will we be more profitable if we get rid of the sugar cookies? So basically how you look at that, get you started, is your choices are going to be keep or drop. Why don't you take a second to figure out what exactly the company as a whole, what would their income be if we keep it? What's their income if we drop it? That's one way to look at it, kind of way I've guided you. So first look at what is our income if we keep it? Well, that's simple enough to do. Just got to enter all the numbers in. Add up all three of the product lines. So we add up all the sales. It's $149,280. If we add up all the variable costs, it's $111,450, which gives us a total contribution margin of $37,830, less our fixed cost of $19,345. So 18% $1,085 would be our net income under current operations, keeping the sugar cookies. You just add up all three of them, that's what you get. So what happens when we drop the sugar cookies? Well, we obviously lose the $41,500 related to sugar cookie sales. So our sales number will be only $107,780. But we also get to get rid of those $36,780 worth of variable costs on sugar cookies. So yes, we lose sales, but we're also losing variable costs. But we can already see at the contribution margin level that our contribution margin is going down. Well, we need fixed costs to go down, it's just as much proportion or more for this to make sense. So fixed costs will be reduced by 18%. With 18% of the total fixed costs are related to sugar cookies. Well, if $19,345 is our total fixed cost, 18% less than that, or 82% of that, is $15,862.90. Well, if we get rid of sugar cookies, our income goes down. We don't want our income to go down. But sugar cookies is operating at a loss. What's happening? Is sugar cookies is absorbing some of the overall division level cost. Division leader's salary, the administrative assistant of that division leader, janitorial, and so forth. That of that $6,521, if we take, difference here, 18%, that was $3,482.10. Of that $6,521 is being allocated to sugar cookies, only that much is really related to the sugar cookies. The rest is being allocated. And what's going to happen? It's going to be allocated, if we get rid of sugar cookies, it's going to be allocated to peanut butter and chocolate chip, which is going to make peanut butter and chocolate chip look less profitable because you got more fixed costs being allocated to them. The other way to look at this problem is just focusing on sugar cookies. With the sugar cookie contribution margin, $4,720, the fixed cost related to the sugar cookies is less than what it's contributing. So that means it's actually bringing in profit to the company. It's absorbing costs that are just going to have to be absorbed somewhere else. So while, yes, it looks like it's operating at a loss, it's actually helping the division out. So that's what you got to be careful with when you just look at income statements when you're trying to make the individual product line or individual divisions even, looking at them and saying, oh, well, that one's operating a loss, let's get rid of it. Well, what's going to happen? Are you really going to be able to get rid of all the fixed costs related to that product line, division, business unit? Of course, the other thing that doesn't even show up here, you got to figure out what kind of services, probably not with sugar cookies, but in some lines of business, a business unit will help another business unit out. You don't necessarily see that on an income statement. You see a lot of software companies. If you have a business unit that has operating a net loss, but they're providing software that's being used in another part of the company, if you get rid of that business unit, where are you going to get that software from? So those are other factors you would have to consider. Questions on dropping product lines? Best bet of approaching it is figuring out what your income is before or currently and keeping it versus what happens when you get rid of it. That's going to be the clearest picture for you. Yes, or you can simply do it this way if you're comfortable with that as well. But if you were going to present it to management, that would hit home straight towards them. So.